Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise above the ordinary, as if they are driven by something deeper than ambition? Why a few dare to dream so big that their very lives become a challenge to everything we accept as normal? It is not just coincidence. Throughout history, certain minds have refused to settle for the small, the safe, or the expected. They have looked beyond the horizon of convention and declared, life can be more. I can be more. This is not simple motivation. It is philosophy. And no philosopher captured this daring spirit more than Friedrich Nietzsche, a thinker who believed that the greatest tragedy of human life was not failure, but mediocrity, living so cautiously that you never touch your true potential. Nietzsche called this driving force the will to power, not the will to dominate others, as many believe, but the will to rise above oneself, to break the boundaries of fear, doubt, and limitation, and to create something extraordinary out of existence itself. But before we explore this idea, we need to understand something deeper. Why does thinking big matter at all? Thinking small feels safe. It promises comfort. It asks little of us except to accept the world as it is. But Nietzsche saw this as dangerous, not because it leads to failure, but because it prevents transformation. To think big, on the other hand, is to invite challenge. It is to risk failure, yes, but it is also to open the possibility of greatness. Nietzsche believed that life is not a static experience. It is a process of becoming. Every day we are shaping who we are and who we might become. Thinking big is not just about what we might achieve. It is about who we must become in order to achieve it. A small vision shapes a small self. A bold vision demands a bold self. This is why Nietzsche called life a work of art, not a fixed picture, but a living canvas. And the question he poses to us is simple but unsettling. What masterpiece are you painting with your life? Friedrich Nietzsche was born in 1844 in a small village in Prussia. His life, at first glance, might not seem extraordinary, marked by illness, isolation, and eventual mental collapse. But beneath these struggles burned one of the fiercest intellectual fires in history. Nietzsche was not a philosopher of comfort. He did not write to soothe. He wrote to provoke, to awaken those who had fallen asleep in the routines of ordinary life. And at the core of his philosophy stood the idea that life is driven by a force more fundamental than survival, more powerful than fear: the will to power. The will to power, misunderstood yet revolutionary. Many hear the phrase will to power and think of tyranny or control, but Nietzsche's meaning was far more profound. The will to power, he argued, is the basic drive of all life, not merely to live, but to grow, to expand, to overcome. It is the energy behind every act of creation, every leap of imagination, every breakthrough that defies limitation. And human beings? At their best, they do the same. They create art where there was none, ideas where there was ignorance, and visions where others saw only limits. But Nietzsche knew this path was rare. Most people, he argued, live by the herd mentality. They choose safety over challenge, conformity over courage. The herd seeks comfort in what is known. It resists anything that forces it to confront its own smallness. But the one who dares to think big, the one who embraces the will to power, sees life differently. For them, the question is not, how can I fit in, but how far can I go? Nietzsche leaves us with a challenge as relevant now as it was in his time. If life is brief, why live small? If existence is fleeting, why not fill it with bold thought, daring creation, and a relentless push toward what could be? The will to power is not about conquering others. It is about conquering yourself, your doubts, your fears, your limitations. It is about becoming more than what life has told you to be. And this is where the journey truly begins, not with answers, but with a question. How big are you willing to think?